Hi there, Chris here, chap in the cap, Motolegends. Today I want to talk to you about a new glove brand that we've just taken on. Now it was in 1946, after the war, that glove makers Bruno Held and his son were expelled from the Czech Republic. After the war, the Czech Republic became communist. They were expelled from the country, and father and son decided to set up a new factory in Germany. When they first arrived in Germany, their focus was very much on protective industrial gloves. They moved into fashion gloves, they did fashion gloves, they also did driving gloves. For whatever reason, by the 1970s, they had become very much focused on motorcycling. And ever since then, they've been regularly voted by the German magazine Motorrad as the best maker of gloves. Now, that sounds like a wonderful accolade. I've got to say, not quite as strong an endorsement as one might expect, because I'm not sure that Motorrad recognizes anybody other than a German company when it comes to making motorcycle clothing, which is why, for example, Daytona have won the award for the best boot ever since year dot, as it were. Anyway, in 2009, Held gained a Gore-Tex license, which put them up on another level. We've always known the brand. Our customers who come in here, often they bought gloves elsewhere. Those customers who've had Held gloves have always been very complimentary about them. We know that they make gloves for other people, for a number of other manufacturers, and indeed for some of the motorcycle manufacturers. But we came across them, I suppose, most clearly when we started working with Stadler. Now, Stadler have 3 gloves in their range. They're all made by Held, and they are beautiful gloves. And I suppose that set us thinking, those gloves are so nice, maybe we should take a closer look at the range. Now, the reason that maybe we hadn't looked at them before is there are lots of gloves out there, lots of glove brands out there, and we've never been short of motorcycle gloves. But I suppose as we've matured as a company, we've learnt about the market, and we've learnt to value form over function. And for us, it would seem, or we think, that some of the manufacturers out there look at gloves as an afterthought. So there'll be companies that produce technical suits, they might make leather jackets, they might make jeans, but then someone says at the end of the collection, oh, we need some gloves. So they bang out a couple of gloves. And we are sometimes disappointed with the gloves that come out of the traditional motorcycle apparel companies. Our perception of Held, however, is a little bit different. Whereas we look at most of the companies in the market and look at them as clothing companies who make gloves, we think that Held is the opposite, that they are, even though they have this huge range of clothing, they produce a catalogue this thick, they produce just about everything. They produce luggage, boots, jackets, everything you could name. But the perception we have, and we've spoken to other people, and it doesn't seem an unfair perception, is that Held is still first and foremost emotionally a glove company. They're a glove company that makes clothing rather than the others who are clothing companies that make gloves. They always use the best components. So we're talking about things like Gore-Tex, Super Fabric, Thin Shillet, Outlast, Coolmax, Scotch-Lite. They use the most exotic hides, so they'll use deer, they'll use goats, they'll use kangaroo, they'll use elk skin, and of course, if it's more appropriate, they'll use cowhide. All their gloves are supremely comfortable. They are proportional in the way that you would expect them to be, and they fit very well. One thing that we would say is that they do tend to come up a size larger than other brands. So if you were, for example, a size 9 in a Rucker glove, you might well be 8 in a Held glove. If there's one thing we're disappointed about, it's the fact that the range of sizes is not huge. With Held, they go from 6 to 12, whereas we have other brands that go 13, 14, even 15. Of course, that doesn't mean, that's not quite as bad as it would seem, because we've already said their gloves come up large. So in reality, their 12 is a 13, and it's quite rare to have someone who is a 14 or a 15. It would just have been nice to have gloves at that size available from Held. Anyway, we're going to go over and look at some of the gloves. All the gloves that I'm going to talk about today are on the website. Most of them are in stock, but some are coming through in the coming weeks. So we're recording this towards the end of July. Some of these gloves are coming through in early August. I think there's even one glove that's coming through in September. Anyway, let's go over, let's start looking at Held gloves. This is called the Caesar glove. It is a long cuffed glove made from goat skin. I suppose we would term this a winterized glove. It's not a full-on winter glove, but two things. It's got a membrane, it's got a Gore-Tex membrane. In this instance, it is not a laminated membrane, but a drop liner membrane. Now, the benefit of a drop liner membrane in a glove is that you have an extra air gap. When you laminate a membrane to the inner surface of a garment, you lose an air gap. And that air gap is important in the winter in terms of its ability to hold on to heat. So I'm imagining that the decision that Held took with this glove is they wanted this to be a warm glove, and therefore laminating wasn't the route to go. The other thing that Held have done with this glove to make it a warm glove is it's infused with, or it has a membrane made from Outlast. Now, Outlast is a magical material. It was originally developed for the NASA space program. It holds heat in paraffin molecules within the membrane. So it does a couple of things. It actually regulates temperature, so when you're hot, if you've got a hot hand and you put your hand in this glove, it will take that heat and store it in the membrane, therefore cooling your hand down. But it's particularly good in the winter, because if you've got heated grips, or you're going through a period where you can get some heat into the glove, it'll hold on to that heat in the membrane, and then later on when you get cold, it will pass that heat back. But this membrane, this Outlast membrane, works particularly well with heated grips, because the other thing that Outlast does, it doesn't just store the heat, it passes it around the membrane. So if you've got your hands on the grips and your heated grips are on, then it will pass that heat around to the back of the hand. So even though this isn't the thickest winter glove you'll come across, in fact far from it, it is going to be incredibly warm. I suppose I might suggest that if you were a commuter commuting through the winter, 15,000, 20,000 miles a year, you might want to find a warmer glove, because you're going to be getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, coming back 8 or 9 o'clock at night at times in the freezing cold in December or January. So you might find a warmer glove. But for most of us, let's face it, riding from March maybe through to November, this is going to be more than up to the job. It's a good enough glove in terms of its warmth for most of us. In terms of protection, you've got this foam padded knuckle protector here on the back. You've got little foam pads also on the fingers. Down the side of the glove, you've got a leather panel. Culminates in 2 areas of super fabric. We love super fabric. It's incredibly strong. So if you do go down the road, it's amazingly abrasion resistant, but it also slides nicely. You've got an area of digiprint leather here between the forefinger and the thumb. That's for better grip on the controls. In terms of comfort, you've got accordion stretch panels on the fingers. You've also got accordion stretch here on the thumb. So, as with all Held gloves, they're just incredibly comfortable to wear. You've got a visor wipe on the left-hand finger here. The one thing you don't have with this glove, I don't know why they didn't put it on, but it's something that we've come to expect and we've seen on a number of Held gloves, but these gloves are not smartphone sensitive, so you cannot use your sat-nav, you cannot use your phone with these gloves. You do have a couple of straps at the wrist to make the glove really secure. You've got this thin one at the wrist itself, this one at the cuff. You've got areas of Scotch-Lite here for reflective, to reflect, obviously at night, if a car headlight shines on that, on the front or the back, that's going to show up nicely. Our view of gloves like this, and there's another glove that's somewhat like it from Halvarsons, that glove is called the Beast glove. But if you had to have one glove that you wore all year round, you didn't want to faff about with summer gloves or extra winter gloves, this is a glove that you could wear all year round. Is it going to be a wee bit hot and sweaty in the middle of the summer? Yes, maybe, once the temperatures are above 30, but I think it's bearable. This doesn't feel like a winter glove, but the upside, the converse is that you really can wear this right through till pretty low temperatures. As I've said, if you're riding in December, January, maybe there's a better option, but for most of us, this is going to be more than up to the job. It's priced at £131.99. I think it's a lot of glove for the money. Most of us, you're not going to need anything else. This is the Score 4 glove. It is a laminated Gore-Tex glove, what is known as a Gore Grip glove. Now, lamination is one of two main systems of waterproofing a motorcycle garment, be it a glove or a jacket or a pant. You either have a drop liner where the waterproof membrane hangs separately inside the outer surface, or you take the membrane and you laminate it or heat seal it to the outer surface. What that means is water can't find its way through the outer surface, so garments that are laminated will never wet out. You stay drier for longer, and then after you've been in the rain, those garments will dry out much faster. In this instance, it forms part of a longer cuffed glove, so that's a cuff that's going to go under most jackets. Even if you've got a jacket where the sleeve is rather short, this is a really nice, quite thin, but a longer cuff, so that's going to go right up inside the jacket. As I've said, it's a goat skin, makes this particularly comfortable as a glove. That's interspersed with areas of textile material. That's a spandex material, so stretching that makes this one of the most comfortable waterproof gloves certainly I've ever worn. On the back of the hand, you've got this knuckle protector. It's actually a hard knuckle protector covered in leather, so it doesn't look particularly aggressive. On the inside, you've got a foam pad, so you really can't feel that there's a hard protector there. What makes that even more the case, makes the glove even more comfortable, is that you've got accordion stretch panels here on the front fingers. So as you articulate your hands around the grips, those panels open up. You've got the same on the back of the wrist here. We're finding that it's a feature of all held gloves. They are just beautiful and comfortable to wear. In terms of protection, you've got an extra layer of leather down the side of the glove. In this glove, as we find again on a number of held gloves, that culminates in a panel of super fabric. Super fabric is just about the most abrasion resistant material you can use on a motorcycle garment. It is incredibly strong if you end up sliding down the road, but also it just slides very easily, so it makes for a great palm slider. So as I mentioned, you've got these textile areas for flowing air. You've also got some perforations. What's nice about this glove also is the Scotch-like material inside these perforations. So at night, if a car headlight catches that, that's going to shine up nice and bright. Very lightweight lining, not the kind of lining you're going to be able to pull out, but it all aids or contributes to the feeling that this is just a lovely, easy glove to wear. In terms of closure, you've got two straps. You've got this thin Velcro strap at the wrist and a wider one at the cuff. Fingers, you've got smartphone fingers, so that's going to work on your sat nav or a telephone. If you've got a telephone that you're using and want to scroll through, you've got a visor wipe here on the left-hand finger. In terms of price, $131.99. There are, as I think we've said before, there are less expensive gloves out there. Held gloves are never going to be the cheapest, but you've just got to try this glove on. It is fabulous to wear. So this is a glove with absolutely no shelf presence, and it's got the worst name since Shui created the Glampster. It's a glove called the RODNEY glove. Who on earth wants to buy a glove called the RODNEY glove? But that aside, everything else about this glove is wonderful. In terms of its feel, it is super comfortable, and that's partly down to the fact that the palm is kangaroo and the upper half is goat skin. It doesn't really get better than that. So you've got amazing suppleness, but a lot of strength. This is a very strong glove. In terms of the kind of glove it is, it's a short to mid cuff. So that's a cuff that's long enough to go underneath the sleeve of any jacket. Obviously, as a summer glove, it's got no membrane. It's got perforations for airflow. You've got a soft knuckle protector here. You've got leather running down the side of the hand for extra abrasion resistance, and that culminates in a couple of little patches. You have to look carefully to find them, but a couple of little patches here of super fabric in case you do slide down the road, and obviously super fabric is amazingly abrasion resistant. You've also got, did I say abrasion resistance? I meant abrasion resistant. You've also got on the back of the hand a layer of Coolmax. That's just going to help the moisture wick away from the body. It helps perspiration. It helps make the glove a little bit cooler to wear in hot conditions. Externally sewn seams on the fingers, shaved seams here, and as we know, when you do that, it makes the internal side of the finger more comfortable. At times that doesn't look great, but actually here, because the seams are shaved, you can't tell they're external seams, but they are. It's just another feature that makes these gloves particularly comfortable to wear. You've got accordion stretch here at the back of the knuckle and also on the wrist. Again, just makes this particularly comfortable. On the left hand, even though this is a summer glove, most people wouldn't put a visor wipe on a summer glove because presumably you're going to wear this when it's not raining, but certainly if you're in England, you never know when it's going to rain. I suppose it applies equally if you're touring abroad, but we have a visor wipe on the left hand. At the wrist, we've got a single Velcro strap, priced $105.99. Now, that might seem a lot of money for what is a very simple glove, but it is beautiful to wear. It's got all the best materials, so a combination of kangaroo and goat skin. Really, gloves don't get much more exotic than that. So $105.99 seems a lot of money, but I think you get a lot for this glove as well. This is the FLIXTER glove from Held. I feel as though I've seen this style from a number of other manufacturers. It's got a slight hipster feel to it, but I have to assure you that from a functionality perspective, from the way it's constructed, from the materials that it's made of, this is vastly superior to any of those gloves. It is in essence a short cuffed, perforated, unlined, non-waterproof summer glove. It's made from a combination of kangaroo on the palm, beautiful and soft, incredibly strong. Same can be said of kangaroo on the back of the hand. That is interspersed, interestingly, with areas of armolith. Now, armolith is amazingly strong. It's actually stronger than leather. This is the material that Roka's jeans are made from. So a combination of materials, incredibly exotic. Goat skin, kangaroo and armolith, that's just an amazing spec in my view. In terms of the knuckle protector, not D3O again, but it's a D3O style soft knuckle protector. That is then continued with these soft panels on the fingers behind areas of armolith. For comfort, externally sewn seams. These ones are not shaved, but when you've got an externally sewn seam, you don't feel any constriction inside the hand. Accordion stretch on the fingers and then on the back of the wrist here. So this panel here, that's an armolith panel, but that's got stretch in. So again, when you're putting your hands around the grips, you've got stretch here in the fingers, stretch there on the back of the hand, makes this incredibly comfortable. Down the side of the hand, you've got a leather panel, obviously on both sides. So if you do go down, that's extra abrasive resistance. Here on the palm, there are a couple of foam pads. Here, between the forefinger and the thumb, you've got a suede panel. That's just about extra grip. On the wrist, you've got, even though there's a button here, that's a common held feature. Even though that's a button, the wrist fastens with Velcro. On the left hand, again, we've made this point, you don't always get a visor wipe on a summer glove, but it's one of Held's things. So you get on this glove also a visor wipe. $87.99, just think it's amazing value. What we like about it is people sometimes labour over, if they've got a brown leather jacket but black boots, do they have brown gloves or black gloves? These are the kind of gloves you can wear with any leather jacket, whatever colour, it's going to go well. It's also just a brilliant glove. Listen, I hope you'll forgive me, but normally when I'm reviewing products, I like to drill down, find the faults and report on the weaknesses of the products we're looking at. I'm finding that quite difficult today with these Held gloves because they are all beautifully comfortable to wear. These are some of the nicest gloves I've ever put my hands in, and technically they're all more than proficient. They've got all the right components to them. This glove is called the PAXTON. It's a short cuffed summer glove. It's got a deer skin palm. Now, deer skin is 4 times stronger than cowhide, so that is super strong, super reassuring. It's cowhide on the back. Obviously, as a summer glove, it's got no membrane. You've got some perforations to allow air to pass through. The knuckle protector, it's a hard plastic knuckle protector, but foam lined, so you have no sense of feeling anything hard on the back of your hand there. It is still beautifully comfortable despite that hard knuckle protector. You've got some soft pads on the fingers also for extra protection. You've got, as you find with pretty much all of Held's gloves, you've got an extra layer of leather that runs down the side of the hand. In this case, comes round onto the palm. Accordion stretch on the fingers. You've got a little accordion stretch at the end of the fingers here, a kind of a slit accordion panel. More traditional accordion stretch here on the fingers, and then another subtle stretch panel here on the back of the hand. But they all add up to make this, like a lot of their gloves, as I've mentioned, makes this a very comfortable glove. The other element that contributes to that is the externally sewn finger seams. I've mentioned already, I'm not always a fan of that because I don't think those seams look as good, but there's no doubting the fact that when you have the seam on the outside, it makes the glove a little bit more comfortable. In terms of other features, you've got a little zip here. That's just a way of doing it up. Obviously, I think that's more a decorative feature than anything else. And then you obviously have a Velcro strap on the underneath. The palm is totally unlined. You do have a lining over the top hand, the top part of the glove that goes behind the knuckle protector. Just again, I think a device to make this more comfortable. So once again, it's another winner as far as I'm concerned from Held. It's a lovely, comfortable glove, yet it feels very reassuring. And at £87.99, I think pretty amazing value. This is the touch glove. Now, Held is a German company, and like a number of German manufacturers, I'm not sure design is at the forefront of their thinking. This could be deemed to be a rather dull looking glove, and when I first saw it I did not like it particularly. It reminded me of those gloves that you pick up on those stands at the NEC, people selling leather gloves for £15. So when you try it on, however, it's a different experience altogether. It is a beautiful glove. What it is a mid-length summer touring glove. So if you go touring, you're not going to want to take this glove on its own, but if you're going somewhere, let's say the south of France, Italy or Spain, you'll probably want to take a summer waterproof glove, because of course it could rain at any stage. But a glove like that, when it's really hot, when it's up into the 30s, that's going to be a wee bit sweaty. So if you have the room to carry a second pair of gloves, when you reach those kind of conditions, you put a pair of these on, it's going to make your riding much more comfortable. Obviously it's a summer glove, it's got no membrane, it's totally unlined. We've got the external seams, in fact here they are shaved seams, makes it a beautifully comfortable glove to wear, as do a couple of other features that I'll come on and talk about in a minute. The back of the hand here, the knuckle protector, that's some kind of D3O style material. It's not D3O, but it feels soft to the touch, it's leather covered, and as you find with all of Held's gloves, there's a foam protector behind it that makes it particularly comfortable. You've got an extra layer of leather down the side of the hand, and that culminates on both hands obviously with a super fabric panel on the palm. Means if you go down, it's very abrasion resistant, but it slides nicely as well. The other thing that helps the comfort is these accordion stretch panels, and on this glove you've got them on the fingers, you've got them on the back of the hand, and you've also got them on the thumbs. So that just makes this glove, they're so easy to articulate, they're going to be wonderfully comfortable on the bike. Because it's a summer glove, you've got perforations in the leather, that's going to help airflow, helps the body to breathe, and helps air come in to cool the hand down. You've got smartphone sensitivity on the forefingers and the thumbs, so you can use that on a sat-nav to increase the map and so on. At the wrist, you've got two adjusters. You've got one little strap on the wrist and one across the cuff as well. You've also got another piece of super fabric here, again, to the same end. In terms of visor wipe, that's on the left finger here. Wouldn't normally expect to find a visor wipe on a summer glove, but I suppose you could be wearing one of these and suddenly the heavens opened up, so why not? This has got a visor wipe as well, therefore. So price, £105.99, not the most inexpensive summer glove, but I have to assure you, whatever you think of the looks of this glove, put it on, you'll be won over. It's a beautiful glove. So this is an interesting glove from Held. It's called the Air and Dry glove, and it's a two-chamber glove. Now, if you've seen any of our reviews of winter two-chamber gloves, you will know perhaps our view that we're not big fans of two chambers. We think it's a marketing ploy. We don't think they do much. And that's because in most of those gloves, what you've got the thermal on the palm and the thermal on the back. And if you put your hand in the lower compartment, you put all of the thermal on the back of the hand. Now, we like that because that means that gloves like that work particularly well with heated grips, because the heat from the grip can go straight through to the skin and warm the hand. But we cannot for the life of us work out why you would ever want to put your hand in the upper compartment, leaving the back of the hand more exposed, so more exposed to the cold, and reducing the feel on the front of the hand. So by and large, we do not like two-chamber gloves. But this one's a wee bit different. I'm not sure it's totally credible, but it's a little bit cleverer than the winter gloves, and I'm going to explain why. Now, in this glove, in the upper compartment, it's just a summer waterproof glove. In other words, you've got a membrane, in this case it's a Gore-Tex membrane, you've got a Gore-Tex membrane underneath the glove and on the back of the palm. So it's just a traditional Gore-Tex summer waterproof glove. When you put your hand in the lower compartment, you are putting your hand on this side right up against the skin, and in this case it's a kangaroo skin. So what's going to happen with a traditional summer waterproof glove, there will be days in the middle of the summer, say when the temperature's up in the 30s, when it might start to get a wee bit sweaty because you are sweating on the bike and that perspiration cannot escape fast enough through the membrane. So a glove like that can get a little bit hot and sticky. But with this glove, if you put your hand in the lower compartment, the palm of the hand can sweat. It's going to stop this getting sticky. It's going to make the glove far more bearable. So I think it's a clever idea. it's just going to give a summer waterproof glove a kind of greater life. It's going to be a more breathable glove. So this is the kind of glove I think you can wear. We often talk about summer waterproof gloves being a glove that you can wear from March through to October, but when we say that, we sometimes say that in the middle of the summer, you know, in August, when it's really hot, you might find that you want to transfer to a pure summer glove. And of course, you might still, but I think this glove's going to be more bearable on the hottest days than it would be if you were wearing just a standard summer waterproof glove. As I've said, the palm is kangaroo. Kangaroo skin is very thin. It's what is used on racers' gloves. Very thin, it's very strong. On the back, you've got a mix of leather and cordura. You've got a hard knuckle protector here. Now, as you always find on a held glove, when you've got a hard knuckle protector, you've got a foam backing to that, so it doesn't feel at all uncomfortable to wear. You've got vents in the knuckles here. You've got 4 vents, and you've also got vents on the fingers. Here on the palm, you've got a layer of digiprint leather. Digiprint leather is just a very, it's a stippled leather, which means that it gives you great grip on the controls. Down the side of the hand, you've got a layer of leather, and that culminates here across the palm on both sides, obviously, with some super fabric. Super fabric is the most abrasion-resistant material you can use on an item of motorcycle apparel, and we love it when we see super fabric used on either a jacket or on, in this case, obviously a glove. In terms of comfort, on the back of the hand, you've got accordion stretch panels here on the fingers, got a bit of accordion stretch on the back. Now, we find that's really necessary when you've got a glove with a knuckle protector. What you can find, if you don't have any accordion stretch or any panels for stretch, that can make the glove a little bit uncomfortable when you're putting your hands around the grips. But that doesn't happen here, because as you do that, you're affecting the accordion stretch here and also the stretch on the back of the wrist. So lovely and comfortable to wear. At the wrist, you've got 2 straps. You've got a strap here on the wrist and then another one at the cuff. It's a fairly long cuff, but this will easily go under any kind of motorcycle jacket. What's nice on the cuff as well, you've got these soft protector pads, so if you did come off, you've got a little bit of extra protection there. Now, the glove has also got Scotch-Lite for reflection, and what's a little bit unique with this glove is the Scotch-Lite is inside the glove, and it's actually inside the perforation, so you probably can't see it here, but the glove is perforated in many parts. You can see it probably a little bit here on the wrist, but that's where the Scotch-Lite is, so it's quite clever. You don't have any big bands of it, but I think it's certainly going to show up late at night. Now, I saw a review of this glove by Revzilla where they said that you get 2 gloves for the price of 1. Not sure that's really the case. It's a summer waterproof glove. No one's ever created a glove that's waterproof on the back and not waterproof on the front, so I'm not sure you do really get 2 gloves for the price of 1. I think you get 1.5 gloves for the price of 1, but that's up to you to decide, because actually at $175.99 it's not an inexpensive glove. But if you're looking for one glove that you can wear, as I've said, from sometime like March through to the end of the season, sometime like October, especially if you've got heated grips, I think you could get away with just this one pair of gloves. I feel as though somebody in the marketing department at Held Gloves in Germany has been watching too many reruns of Fools and Horses. They've got the RODNEY glove in the range, and now this glove, the BURT glove. It's a style, it's a design that's very much based on the Roland Sands glove, a glove called the Diesel glove, and we've seen it from lots of people. It's been copied by Furrigan, Segura, Racer Gloves have done one like it. A number of people have copied the gloves, but I have to tell you, this is the most comfortable iteration of that glove I've ever seen. I think this is the most comfortable motorcycle glove I've ever worn, which is surprising, because when I looked at it first, I didn't think it was going to be, because it's got this kind of aged patina to it. And whenever I've seen anyone use this finish, it has made the glove, it's dried the leather out, and it hasn't been particularly comfortable. And I've got a number of gloves here, or we have a number of gloves here that look like this, but they're always a little bit stiff to wear. This one isn't. This is a beautiful glove. That's partly down to the fact, I suppose, that both the back and the upper are made from goat skin. You'll have heard us talk about goat skin. It's stronger than cowhide, it's thinner than cowhide, makes for lovely gloves. In terms of the protection, you've got a knuckle protector here. It's a hard knuckle protector, fairly hard, but it's got foam backing behind that, so you can't feel that when you're articulating the gloves. You've also got foam pads here on the fingers. Further towards comfort, you've got accordion stretch here across the 3 fingers and here across the back of the hand, so as you're putting your hands around the grip, there's no sense of fighting against the leather. Lots of perforations. Obviously this is a summer glove, there's no membrane, but the perforations are going to make it even nicer to wear on a hot day. Totally unlined on the palm, silk lining on the back of the glove, and it's a silk lining because that's also infused with Cool Max that's going to help this glove to wick moisture away from the body. It's going to allow the skin to breathe a wee bit better. As with most held gloves, you'll find an extra layer of leather down the side of the hand for protection if ever you do go down the road. When we were sent these gloves, all of our gloves from Held, they couldn't find the left-hand glove to this, so you'll just have to believe me, but on the left-hand side, on the index finger on the left-hand side, there is a visor wipe. The index finger on both gloves is a smartphone finger, so obviously you can use your sat-nav or your telephone. Again, as with most Held gloves, you've got externally sewn seams. These ones are not shaved back, so they're not necessarily the most attractive. I prefer it when they are shaved, but it still makes for an incredibly comfortable glove. You've got an extra area here of suede across the palm. That's just for better grip on the gloves, and you've got a slightly padded area, another level of layer here across the palm. Fastens by means of a Velcro strap. These gloves are priced at $69.99, but I've got to tell you, I reiterate, these are just the loveliest gloves. As soon as the left-hand glove arrives, these are going to be mine. So this is the classic rider glove. It's the style of glove that's sometimes known as a bobber glove. It's about as simple as a motorcycle glove gets. It's a proper CE-approved glove, but you don't get all the accoutrements and the additions that you find on many motorcycle gloves. So you don't get a knuckle protector on this glove. Clearly it's a summer glove, there's going to be no membrane either. It's part lined on the inside, so there's a bit of a lining on the back of the hand, but the palm is completely untouched, so that's going to give you a great feel on the controls. The entire glove is made of goat skin. Now, here at Motolegends, we love goat skin. We think it makes for great motorcycle wear because goat skin is thinner than cowhide, so it's more comfortable, but for its thickness, it's stronger. So whilst this is a supremely comfortable glove to wear, it's actually still a very strong glove. As it's a summer glove, you've got perforations on the fingers. That's going to allow a little bit more air through. On the palm, you've got a couple of extra pads of leather. You've got one here between the forefinger and the thumb, and you've got another piece here on the palm with a little bit of padding on there, so if you do go down, you've got a little bit of extra absorption there. In terms of closure, you've got this elasticated band that goes over the back of the wrist, and even though there's a button here on this strap, that's actually just a Velcro closure. You do also have a smartphone finger. I've not seen a glove like this before that has a smartphone finger, so obviously you can use your sat-nav, you can use your phone in this glove. So simple, back to basics glove, priced $43.99. This is a glove called the Desert 2. Now, when we wanted to record this little review, Held could only supply us with one glove, so that's why I've only got a left-hand glove for this particular run-through. I've got to say this is one of the nicest, most protective, mesh-style high airflow gloves that we've ever come across. In terms of protection, it's right up there. Here on the knuckle, you've got a super fabric hard panel. You've got super fabric on the two little fingers. You've got a super fabric slider there on the palm, and you've got another band of super fabric on the wrist. Super fabric is the most abrasion resistant material you can use on a motorcycle glove, or indeed any item of motorcycle apparel, and it's the sign of a very superior garment if it's bedecked with super fabric as this is. In terms of the rest of the construction, the palm is kangaroo. Kangaroo is what you find on most MotoGP riders' gloves. It's very strong but super supple. The upper half of the glove is goat skin. Goat skin is also a lovely leather for a glove. It is thinner than cowhide but stronger than cowhide for its thickness. You've also got, in terms of airflow, because this is a summer glove, obviously there's no membrane in it, but for airflow, you've got extensive panels here on the fingers, all the way down the thumb and at the back of the wrist. You've also got some perforations on the fingers down here, so this is going to be a very cool glove to wear. The other thing you've got on the wrist is an area of digiprint leather. Digiprint leather is a leather with a texture, and it's just meant to give you a little bit more grip on the controls. One thing that you have, I've noticed it on a number of Held gloves, I don't fully understand it, it seems to be fighting logic a wee bit, but this glove also has a visor wipe on the left hand. I suppose even if you're wearing a glove like this, it can be raining, but you wouldn't normally expect to find a visor wipe on a high airflow glove. But anyway, it's got one. The glove is superbly comfortable. It's reassuring in terms of its feel. And I've got to say that at the price, $78.99, it's just amazing value. $78.99 is a very competitive price point in this market. We do a number of other gloves that come in at around that price. We don't think that's a particularly high price for a glove. But I would have to suggest that in terms of the premium feel of this glove and the components that are used, the super fabric, the goat, the kangaroo, then this is really a very superior glove. It's amazing value for money. So this is the SAMBIA glove. It's a summer glove, so obviously no membrane, fairly short cuff on it. I suppose you would suggest, or one would suggest, that this glove has a bit of an adventure biking feel to it. It's got a hard knuckle protector. Now, wherever Held put a hard knuckle protector on a glove, they back it with a thick foam, so you cannot feel that coming through. So it's a really comfortable glove to wear despite the hard knuckle protector. The knuckle here is vented. There are 4 inlet vents here. You've got the same on the fingers. The chassis, what makes this a particularly comfortable glove is the chassis of the glove is a kangaroo leather. Kangaroo leather is super soft. Racers use it on their gloves, and a lot of racing one pieces are made of kangaroo as well. So it's very thin, it's very supple, but it's very strong. On the back of the glove, this is a kind of spandex stretch material. Down the side of the hand, you've got a leather panel, so if you go down, that's going to help in terms of abrasion resistance. And actually on the palm here, you've got some super fabric. You've also got around the wrist this kind of heavy rubber buffer if you go down on the wrist. What is another feature of lots of Held gloves is the external seams. Now, external seams, not always been a massive fan of them because I think that internally sewn seams look better, but there can be no doubt that external seams are more comfortable because obviously you don't have the sewing down the inside of the finger. The gloves are also perforated for airflow. At the wrist you've got a single or a simple Velcro adjuster. It is a lovely glove to wear, like all Held gloves, very simple but does what it says on the tin, priced at $78.99. So if you'd like to see the full range of Held gloves, including a couple that I've not touched upon today, which are women's gloves, then visit the website motolegends.com. If you want to learn more about the range and delve into them in a little bit more detail, then if you click on one of the links on the screen, sometimes they're up there, sometimes down there, that will take you to the Held section. There you can check out the spec in a bit more detail, you can check out availability, and obviously if you fancy a pair of these gloves, you can buy a pair there and then. Now, what we try to do is make buying as simple, straightforward and risk-free as we possibly can. There's no delivery charge on any item of protected where you buy from us. Returns are totally free, and what's more, we give you a full 12 months in which to decide whether you do want to return something to us. We have the best price promise in the business. Now, John Lewis is rightly famed for its never knowingly undersold price promise. We go one stage better. If you can find anyone selling anything that we sell at a price that is lower than ours, we will beat that price by a full 10%. If the company is in the EU and not in the UK, we will match their landed price. Now, there are a few terms and conditions, nothing particularly onerous, but if you are going to price beat us, I suggest you visit the website and check out what those terms and conditions are. If you'd like to receive bulletins from us in future about new products, then if you go to the website, at the top of every page, there's a piece of script that says newsletter sign up. Click on there. Within seconds, you'll be in business. In future, you'll receive bulletins from us. If, however, you would prefer to get your information from us videographically, that is to say, in this form, we would be delighted if you wanted to become a subscriber to our YouTube channel, and you can do that by clicking on the button below. Now, this is 2020, and before the end of the year, we're going to be giving away a motorbike. We're calling it a Steve McQueen tribute bike. It's based on a MUT 125cc machine. It's a lovely little cutie. You can read more about it on the front page of our website or on the homepage of our YouTube channel. Finally, I'd like to make a little play for our fabulous shop here in Guildford. We're based about a mile from the railway station, a mile from the centre of town. It is a small shop, but it's attached to our warehouse where we have 3 floors housing more than £2 million worth of stock, which technically makes this the second largest motorcycle apparel shop in the UK. But we think that we are far more than just the amount of merchandise we have here in the building. We're all about service and we're all about personal fitting. If you want to check us out, visit Trustpilot. We have the highest 5-star ranking in the business. When you come to see us, we'll serve you only the finest Italian illy coffee, or we'll serve you proper Yorkshire tea in a proper teapot. And who knows, if you're lucky, you might even get to taste one of Sean's mum's delicious motorcycle-shaped shortbread biscuits. Anyway, this has been Chris. I hope to talk to you soon.